The school register. Seems pretty simple, doesn't it? A list of names, a tick for here, an X for not here. But what if I told you that behind that daily roll call, there's this whole complex system designed to tell a much, much deeper story? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden world of school attendance. And I think what we find is going to change how you see that simple list of names forever.
See, it all boils down to one single question. What happens when a student isn't in their seat? And you know what? The answer is anything but simple. Because in the Renfrewshire school system over in Scotland, there isn't just one answer. Nope. To really understand why that seat is empty, teachers and administrators have, get this, 29 different codes they can use. 29. That right there, that's the hidden complexity we're going to unravel today.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the attendance puzzle itself. Then, we're going to break down what it even means to be present. After that, we'll explore the compassionate reasons behind approved absences, before digging into the surprising stories that unauthorized absences can tell. We'll take a quick peek at some of the codes that are just for admin, and then we'll tie it all together to show you why every single one of these codes really, truly matters.
All right, let's dive in. First up, the attendance puzzle. At the very heart of all this is a system called CMES. That's the Education Management Information System. And its main job isn't just to count heads, it's to accurately track students so schools can actually step in, provide support, and spot those who might need a little help. So getting it right is everything.
So, how does this all work in the real world? Well, the first thing we have to do is kind of challenge a basic idea. We tend to think of attendance as this simple, binary thing. You're either in the classroom or you're not. But the reality? Oh, it is so much more nuanced than that.
And this is where that whole black and white idea of present or absent really starts to break down. A student can be marked as present while they're out on a field trip, doing work experience, or even taking a class at a local college. Check out this code, /SCH. That means a student is in the school building, they're supervised, maybe in a support center or something, but they're just not in their usual class. It shows that learning happens everywhere, and this system is actually built to track it.
And the level of detail is just incredible. It's not just about if you're late, it's about when you get there. So, if a student shows up before the midway point of the morning session, they're marked as in attendance. Simple. But if they walk in after that midpoint, it gets logged as an authorized absence. A few minutes can literally change the official story of their entire morning.
This really shows that even being absent isn't automatically a bad thing, which brings us right to our third section. Approved absences. This is where the system is designed to recognize that, hey, life happens, and sometimes school just isn't the most important place a kid can be.
Just look at the code QDCA. It's for Exceptional Domestic Circumstances. The official guidance uses this exact phrase to describe when to use it. Now, this isn't just bureaucratic jargon. This is a system that's built to see real-world trauma and give a family the space to handle a crisis without being punished for it.
And there are so many other examples that really show the logic and empathy baked right into the system. You've got EPHL, which can authorize a family holiday if it's really important for their well-being after, say, a bereavement. There's ABS for going to an immediate family wedding. DSEL is your standard sickness with a note from a parent. It's a system that was clearly designed with people in mind.
Okay, but what happens when an absence isn't approved? That brings us to Section 4, Unauthorized Absence. And while that might sound all about discipline, it's actually about finding the story hidden in the data. These codes are often the very first sign that a student, and maybe their family, needs some support.
Now, a really important idea to understand here is something called emotionally based school avoidance, or EBSA. This isn't just a kid deciding they don't want to go to school. It's when a student has a severe difficulty attending, and it's often rooted in really serious things, like anxiety or other mental health challenges. It's a huge distinction.
And this is where you can see how different codes can actually tell a story over time. A situation might start with UNA, just a simple unexplained absence. If it keeps happening and the parents don't know where their kid is, it could get coded as @TRU for truancy. But if a real pattern of avoidance starts to emerge, it can be flagged with code 7RFS. That signals it might be EBSA, which tells the school it's time to step in and help.
Now, this right here might be the most powerful example of the system's nuance. Remember that code for a domestic crisis that's authorized? Well, there's an unauthorized version, RDCU. The situation is exactly the same, a crisis at home. So what's the difference? The absence becomes unauthorized when the support services offered by the local authority haven't been taken up by the family. The system isn't just tracking the problem, it's tracking the response to offers of help. It's incredible. Of course, not every single code is about an individual student's personal journey. So let's take a quick look at Section 5, Codes Beyond the Classroom. Think of these as the gears that make the whole administrative machine run smoothly.
So you've got codes like CLO for a snow day or INS for a teacher training day. The crucial thing here is that they don't count against a student's attendance record. They just exist to make sure all the national and local data is clean and accurate. There's even a code for extended leave, maybe for cultural reasons. Every little detail is accounted for, so the final record is totally complete and reliable.
And that brings us to our final section, why every code matters. I mean, we've seen a lot of acronyms and technical terms. But what does it all really add up to?
Well, here's the bottom line. All of these codes are designed to work together to create this incredibly detailed, nuanced picture of a student's life. It's a huge shift away from a simple present or absent and towards truly understanding the why behind every single mark in that register.
Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't just tracking. It's about turning that data into action. This whole system empowers schools to move from just watching attendance numbers to providing real, targeted support. The data literally becomes a diagnostic tool for empathy and for getting ahead of problems. Which leaves us with one last thought. We've seen that every single one of these 29 codes tells a part of a student's story. It documents their good days, their struggles, their family life, their health. The story is right there in the data. The only question left is, are we listening?